Hi, Jake Rogers here. I would like to introduce you to John Ford's Academy Award-winning documentary, The Battle of Midway from 1942. Now, this is an Academy Award winning film, which should make you think this is a perfectly done film, but this is one of the reasons why I wanted to select this film. It's what makes it great, in my opinion, is its high context culture, which, if you're not familiar with 1942 in America, there's a lot of that's in this film that it's going to get right by you, and you're ultimately going to leave saying, how was this an Academy Award winner? Well, it's simple. It's the high context culture that made this film a classic, and that's what I'm going to address through this feature here on the Battle of Midway. Now, several things to understand about this battle. Obviously, John Ford is an Academy Award-winning director, has achieved everything, but here he is out at a remote island, atoll out in the Pacific, filming the documentary footage of arguably the turning point in World War II in the Pacific. So it's an amazing story, and I hope we'll really be able to learn a lot from this, as I'll illustrate the high context culture and John Ford's incredible depth of understanding how to tell a story to the American public. John Ford was one of the best at symbolic imagery, and this documentary is no exception. Indeed, one of his greatest film stars was John Wayne, and one of the reasons why he was so successful was John Ford's symbolic imagery. And this film is a perfect illustration of how he's able to use that. In the early stage of this documentary, we really see a great example of high context culture in which the voiceovers are all being done by famous film stars that have won Academy Awards with John Ford in previous films that the American public would immediately recognize and connect to a latent content and add more power to the meaning of the story. That's what he's doing there, and most people would not recognize that.
Suddenly, from behind the clouds, the Japs attack. This really happened.
What an incredible bit of documentary filmmaking. But let's unpack this, the reason why I'm making this argument on why this is so perfect. All right, look at how John Ford is telling you a story. Look at the visual and latent content that he's able to pull into this. Number one, look at it. Did you notice what music he's using to bring home his point during this scene? He's playing the Star-Spangled Banner. What's going on also in this moment? In the chaos, the explosion, the total destruction that's happening in this air raid, Marines are raising a flag through the smoke and chaos. Oh, when was the Star-Spangled Banner written? During the Battle of Fort McHenry. Very similar parallels. He is using this context culture to drag in American mythology into this history making and making a very strong statement while it's happening. Now, he also realizes, think about this, most films in this time frame are all shot in black and white. They're not used to having this kind of gravity, this kind of realism. More often than not, color films were shot for The Wizard of Oz, these kind of sci-fi type films or adventure films. They were not real. They were not authentic pieces of reality. So that's the reason why he makes sure that he has the voiceover say, yes, this really happened. Because this is a dissemination. This is not Hollywood, California, and then making your typical Hollywood film. This is real life, and this really did happen.
Meantime, our warships stalk the Jap fleet. Suddenly, the trap is sprung. Navy planes roared from the decks of our carriers, army bombers, marines, thundered destruction over a 300-mile battle area.
Those boys to the hospital. Please do, quickly. Get them to clean cots and cool sheets. Get them doctors and medicine, the nurses' soft hands. Get them to the hospital. Hurry, please.
There was a hospital, clean, orderly, 100 beds, and on its roof the Red Cross plainly marked, the symbol of mercy the enemy was bound to respect. The next morning...
Did you catch the genius of what John Ford has done? He is an expert at using a latent content of a film, messaging via imagery to sell an argument. Now look at this. He's already talked about bringing home survivors that are down to airmen or people that are adrift at sea that they're rescuing. He's bringing up about all the carnage of Midway. And now what is he playing as the backdrop? Listen to the music. The music is critically important. He's playing, in an odd case, Onward Christian Soldiers, which already sort of conveys a knights errant, the righteous might of the U.S., to quote FDR's Day of Infamy speech. He's bringing this into forefront because he's selling a point. This is good versus evil. Now, where is he leading all this up to? The climatic moment to where then he's going to reveal the war atrocities of the Japanese bombing the hospital. This is symbolically illustrating the righteous cause of the Americans and the evil of the enemy. It might be called othering today, but it's a highly effective tool that John Ford and most Americans needed to have the moral justification to go wage such a desperately difficult and bloody war and see it through to ultimate victory. And one obvious criticism that can be levied against John Ford's documentary here is that there really is not much footage at all. There's not much graphic, combat in the Hollywood format that we expect of an action film. But this is where I want you to understand the genius of what he's doing. He knows he doesn't have much. Think about trying to effectively capture just a couple of air raids that happened at Midway. With modern technology, we would be hard-pressed to be able to catch airplanes coming in on an attack run of Midway Atoll. But he's able to effectively capture that. He's also, as he brings out in the documentary, trying to bring in information of a 300-mile battle area. That is no easy feat. Also, furthermore, is how much of this stuff is classified information, because this is happening in real time. It isn't as if he can reveal the carriers, the forces, the troops engaged, because ultimately, if he does, this would in fact be violating military secrets that are desperately needed for victory in the war in the Pacific. So, again, it's a criticism, but it's also part of his storytelling. And again, part of the genius is that he understands and realizes that by developing, just like in his movies, a personal connection to humans and this life story, it's going to make a better documentary. And I believe it does.